Daf Yomi, Tractate, Shevuot, page 22. Page 22A, page 22A. Daf Yomi, Shevuos 22, top of the page, with the words Tipshot Dibai Rava, Shevuah Shelo Ochel, Ve'achal Afal B'chama, Tipshot Ad Di'ika Kizait, Ki Amrinan B'midi Davar Achila Kamrinan. Okay, we were in the middle of an idea, so let's go back to Shevuot 21 B, the bottom of the page, where the Gemara asks. We'll start from the question. But isn't there an unresolved question with regard to one who took an oath not to eat and then ate dirt? Interesting question. Someone says, I'm not going to eat. I swear, someone said that they swear that they're not going to eat. And then they eat dirt. So is that considered eating or not? They ate something, but it's not really, they didn't really eat anything. So did they violate the oath or not? If, as the rabbis claim, one is not liable for eating less than a full measure, you could rather answer that which Rava asked. Now we're on the top of Shevuot 22. That which Rava asks with regard to one who says, on my oath, I will not eat, and who then ate dirt. Rava's question is, how much must he eat in order to be liable? Based on the rabbi's statement, you could answer that he is not liable unless there is an olive bulk that he has eaten. The Gemara rejects this conclusion. When we say in the Mishnah that there are no cases where a person who eats less than a full measure is liable, we say it with regard to items that are edible. I can see that. When you eat dirt, you're not eating anything. You're putting waste products in your body. That's not called eating. I can see that. At the same time, if you consider eating nourishment, it's not. If you consider eating the physical act of putting something in the mouth and ingesting it, then it is. So it depends what you consider eating. But anyway, I can see their point. The Gemara asks, but aren't konamot an example of a case where one is liable for eating even less than an olive bulk? The Gemara answers, konamot are also like a case where he specifies that any amount is forbidden for consumption. Amar lehen, heichan matzinu medaber umevi korban, שזה מדבר ומביא קורבן ולה, והרי מגדף, מדבר ואוסר כאמרינן, והי מדבר וחוטאו. The Mishnah teaches that Rabbi Akiva said to the rabbis, where do we find one who speaks and is liable to bring an offering for it? As this oath taker merely speaks, meaning takes an oath and brings an offering for it. The Gemara answers, and do we not? But isn't a blasphemer liable to bring an offering according to the opinion of Rabbi Akiva? See Karitot 7a. The Gemara answers, we are speaking of one who speaks and in doing so generates a prohibition. And this one, the blasphemer, we just had the blasphemer in last week's portion. The blasphemer is merely one who speaks and sins, but does not bring an offering. In the case of someone who blasphemes unwittingly, that's kind of hard to. It almost seems like it's a definition. By definition, has to be intentional. Someone who blasphemes or saying a curse, it has to be intentional. They didn't remember that they were cursing, Anyway. Speaks, alright. Arahari Nazir, maybe Korabana Dibur Kamrinan. I can see, actually, now that's coming to me, maybe it was unintentional. You didn't know it happened, or you channeled something, maybe something within a spirit from a different lifetime. I don't know. They're all possibilities. V'hari nazir maybe korban al dibur kamrinan. V'hai maybe korban lishtroye lechamrahu dekamayese. The Gemara challenges, but doesn't a Nazirite render wine forbidden to himself through speech by making a vow? And does bring an offering? The Gemara answers, we are speaking of one who brings an offering specifically for his speaking, and this one, the Nazirite, brings an offering at the end of his Naziriteship in order to permit wine to himself. The Gemara challenges, but isn't consecrated property a case where one renders an item forbidden via speech alone and brings an offering for its misuse? The Gemara answers, we are speaking of one who by speaking generates a prohibition for himself and nevertheless brings an offering. And this one who consecrates an item generates a prohibition for the whole world. Hare konamos kasavar emeila bekonamos. The Gemara challenges, aren't konamos an example of a case where one renders an item forbidden to himself by speech alone and brings an offering for using it? The Gemara answers, Rabbi Akiva holds that there is no prohibition of misuse of consecrated property with regard to konamot. Amarava machloikes bistam aval b'mefaresh divrei hakol b'chol shehu mai taime mefaresh nami kemiriya dami. Rava says the dispute between Rabbi Akiva and the rabbis is with regard to where one took the oath without specifying that he is liable for eating any amount, but in a case where he specifies that his oath applies to any amount, everyone agrees that he is liable for eating any amount. What is the reason for this? One who specifies this renders any amount significant like a whole entity. דברי הכל בכל שהוא פשיטו מלדותימה ליתום נמי כדאמרי אינשי כמשמע לן. And Rava says the dispute is with regard to a case where one takes an oath saying, and my oath I will not eat, but in a case where one says, on my oath I will not taste, all agree that he is liable for tasting any amount. The Gemara asks, isn't it obvious that he is liable in that case? Tasting has no defined measure. The Gemara answers, Rava nevertheless taught, lest you say that even if one takes an oath saying, I will not taste, he is liable only if he eats in olive bulk, as people say, to taste as a way of saying to eat. Therefore, Rava teaches us that this is not the case. Omer Rav Papa machloikes b'Shevuos, avol b'koinamos, divrei hakol b'chol shehu, mai time mekunamos dami, kevan lo kamida midkar shma dachila kede mefaresh dami. Rav Papa says the dispute in the Mishnah is with regard to oaths. With regard to konamos, all agree that one is liable for eating any amount. What is the reason for this? Indeed, with regard to konamot, since in the vow he did not explicitly mention anything which has a defined measure, but only that the item is forbidden to him like an offering, it is, as he specified, that he is liable for eating any amount. Meisvei shnei konamos mitztarfin shnei Shevuos mitztarfos. Rabbi Meir Omer konamos כשבועos ויסוגת היתך חייב בכל שהוא למה לי לצרף. The Gemara raises an objection from that which is taught in the Braita, items that are forbidden by two konamot combine to produce a full measure for which one is liable. Items forbidden by two oaths do not combine. Rabbi Meir says items forbidden by konamot are like those forbidden by oaths. The Gemara explains the objection, and if it enters your mind that with regard to items forbidden by konamot, one is liable for eating any amount, why do I need them to combine? Teomar achila mizo ale konam, achila mizo ale konam, ihachi yamai mitztarefos, sof sof zir lacha leka shiura, וזיר לאחר לכה שיעור. דאמר אכילה משתיהן עלי קונם. Gemara answers, they combine in a case where he said, eating from this one is konam for me, eating from that one is konam for me. Since he explicitly mentions eating, he is not liable since he eats in all of bulk. Gemara asks, if so, why do they combine to produce a full measure? Ultimately, since he took two separate vows, go to this item and there is not a full measure, and go to that item and there is not a full measure. The Gemara answers, they combined to produce one full measure when he said eating from both of them is konam for me. נכבסה גם בשבועס, דאמר שבוע שלא אוכל משתיהן. עמי אין מצטרפין, אמר רב פנחס, שאני שבועס, מתוך שחלוקוס לחטאוס, אין מצטרפוס. The Gemara asks, in the corresponding situation with regard to oaths, where he said, on my oath I will not eat from both of them, why do they not combine? Rav Pinchas said, oaths are different. Since two items that are forbidden by a single oath are distinct with regard to sin offerings, in that one is liable to bring a sin offering for eating each one, so too, eating a small amount from each does not combine in order to produce a full measure. Ihachi Rabbi Meir Omer konamos ki Shevuos bishlom Shevuos hoy v'chuluvos lechatois elo konamos amayla epo Rabbi Meir Omer Shevuos ki konamos velesle Rav Pinchas. The Gemara asks, if so, how did Rabbi Meir say that items forbidden by konamot are like those forbidden by oaths and do not combine to produce a full measure? Granted that items forbidden by oaths do not combine, since they are distinct with regard to sin offerings. But why do items forbidden by konamot not combine? The Gemara answers, reverse the language, so that the Braita has, Rabbi Meir says, items forbidden by oaths are like items forbidden by konamot. Neither combines to produce a full measure, and Rabbi Meir does not accept the statement of Rav Pinchas that items forbidden by oaths are different. Interesting idea. You could say like Pechsure Mechsra, or like read it differently. Read the Brisa differently. So we should be able to apply that same standard to other texts as well. Yeah, read it differently. Ravina Ama Kiko of in Machloikis. Ki Tanyai Linyan Koban de Beinan Shaveputa. Ravina said, when Rav Papa says that one is liable for eating any amount of an item forbidden by konamot, that is with regard to the matter of lashes. When it is taught in the Braita that items forbidden by konamot combine to produce a full measure, that is with regard to the matter of an offering for misuse of consecrated property, where we require that one derive benefit equal to the value of one pruta from the forbidden item. Lememra de savra banan yesh miila bekonamos ve'atanya ki karzo hekdesh ve'achala ben hu ben chavero ma'al leficha yesh lahen pidyon ki karzo עלי הקדיש, הרי הוא מעל, חברו לא מעל, לפיכך אין לה פדיון, דברי רבי מאיר. The Gemara asks, is that to say that the sages hold that the halachot of misuse of consecrated property extend to items forbidden by konamot? But isn't it on a Braita, if one said this loaf is consecrated and subsequently ate it, then either he or another who ate it is liable for misusing consecrated property. Consequently, since the loaf is consecrated, it is subject to redemption. If one said this loaf is forbidden to me, as if it were consecrated, meaning it is konam for me, and then he ate it, he is liable for misusing consecrated property. But another is not liable for misusing consecrated property. Consequently, since the loaf is not fully consecrated, it is not subject to redemption. This is the statement of Rabbi Meir. And now we turn to page 22b. Chaf bet amud bet, top of the page, with the words of V'chachamim omrim. And the rabbis say, Ben hu ben chavero lo ma'al lefi she'en me'ila b'kol amos. The rabbis say, both he and the other are not liable for misusing consecrated property because there is no prohibition of misuse of consecrated property with regard to konamot. Eifoch echad ze v'echad ze lo ma'al lefi she'en me'ila b'kol amos. Divrei Rabbi Meir. V'chachamim omrim the Gemara responds, reverse the opinions, and say as follows. Both this one and that one are not liable for misusing consecrated property because there is no prohibition of misuse of consecrated property with regard to konamot. This is the statement of Rabbi Meir. And the rabbis say he is liable for misuse of consecrated property, and the other is not liable for misuse of consecrated property. Ihachi Rabbi Meir Omer Konamos. In case Shevuos, Elokanamos etztrufeu delo mitzarfim ham ila yitbahu. Amar Rabbi Meir en meila bekonamos klal. The Gemara asks, if so, how is it that Rabbi Meir says in the previous Braita, items forbidden by konamot are like those forbidden by oaths? Items forbidden by konamot do not combine to produce a full measure that renders one liable for misuse of consecrated property, but this indicates that misuse of consecrated property nevertheless applies to them. But doesn't Rabbi Meir say, according to the reversal of the opinions, that with regard to konamot, there is no prohibition of misuse of consecrated property at all? לדבריהן דרבנן כמה לו לדידי אין מעיל וקונמוס כלל לדידחו עודו לי מיהת דקונמות כשבועות. The Gemara answers, when Rabbi Meir says that items forbidden by konamot do not combine to produce a full measure, he is saying this to the rabbis in accordance with their statement as follows. According to my opinion with regard to konamot, there is no prohibition of misuse of consecrated property at all. According to your opinion, at least admit to me that items forbidden by konamot are like items forbidden by oaths and do not combine to produce a full measure. The Rabbanon Shevuos dika de Rav Pinchas, konamos deka de Rav Pinchas. And the rabbis, they explain that with regard to items forbidden by oaths, one should apply the reasoning of Rav Pinchas that since two items that are forbidden by a single oath are distinct with regard to sin offerings, they do not combine in order to produce a full measure. With regard to konamot, the reasoning of Rav Pinchas does not apply. Amero Shevuos shelo oichel ve'achal afar patur. Boi Rav Shevuos shelo ochel afar b'chama. כיוון דאמר שלא אוכל דייתי הכזית או דילמה כיוון דלאו מזידך לינציהו בכלשהו תיקו. Okay, this is which teku is this? We got to find out. It's very important. This is the work of Rabbi Aharon Yehoshua Pessin. Okay, we had a bunch of tekus. We had a string of 4 tekus in a row on Daf 17a. On that Daf, we had teku 189, 190, 191, and 192. So this has to be teku 193, Taki, according to his Sofer. He lists Shevuos before Makos. I'm not sure why. In Daf Yomi, we did Makos first. So I'm going according to him because, like I said earlier, it's his inspiration, it's his baby, it's his brainchild. So I'm going with him. So this is teku 193. It's coming up right now. I just read it in the Aramaic, and let's see in English. Rava says that if one said, "On my oath, I will not eat," and then he ate dirt, he is exempt because eating dirt is not considered to be eating. Rava raises a dilemma. If one says, "On my oath, I will not eat dirt," how much dirt must he eat in order to be liable? Is the halacha that since he said, "I will not eat dirt," his intention is that the prohibition applies to an olive bullock? That is the standard measure for prohibitions with regard to eating. Or perhaps, since dirt is not something that people eat, he is liable for eating any amount. The Gemara concludes, the dilemma shall stand unresolved. This one is the one I can remember. I like this one. If someone said, "I swear that I will not eat dirt," and then he eats dirt, how much dirt does he need to eat to become liable to receive whippings, or korbanos? So, do we say that it's like any other prohibition, an olive bulk, or dirt is not something you eat? So you said when you eat dirt, it's not food. So that wasn't just for food. That's a teku. We have to wait till the Messiah comes, and Elijah, before the Messiah comes, who heralds the coming of the Messiah. Make your path straight for the Lord. Like it says in Isaiah there. What does it say? It says in Kol koreh bamidbar panu derech Hashem yashru masila lelohenu. Something like that. So we have to wait till Messiah comes, who heralds the coming of Messiah, to answer whether how much dirt one needs to eat to be chayav for. Is it an olive bullock? Or taki, is it just any amount? Because dirt's not food. That's only by food, but since dirt's not food. Alright. Vaitel. This is Unacha take over here. This is great. When it rains, it pours. We got another take here. Take 194. You know what? Let's see. Are there any more tekus? It was just 2. Let's see here. Oh, good. You know what? We'll put on pause now, and we'll put those aside. Okay. Okay, we're back with the next teku here. Boy Rava Shua Shlo Ochel Chatzan Bechama Kivan Dimachal Ad Yedita Roves Daita Kazayis Odilma Kivan Delo Be'ena Achli Le'enche Data Amashu Teku. This is teku number 194, according to Rabbi Preston's book, Teku. Rava raises a dilemma. And yeah, this is my own word. Oy dilma is like dilemma, same word. Usually when they have a dilemma, a question, it uses the word oy dilma, like a dilemma. It's a dilemma. Rava raises a dilemma. If one says, "On my oath, I will not eat a grape seed," how much must he eat in order to be liable? Is the halacha that since it is ordinarily eaten in a mixture, it's part of a grape, his intention is that the prohibition applies to a complete olive bulk measure of grape seeds, or perhaps, since people do not eat it by itself, but always in a mixture, his intention is to be liable for eating any amount. The Gemara concludes, the dilemma shall stand unresolved. He said, on my oath, I will not eat a grape seed. That's what he said. On his oath, he will not eat a grape seed. Okay? So, literally, he cannot eat a grape seed. If he said, I will not eat grape seeds, I can see the question there. But not a grape seed, he said, I will not eat a grape seed. And if he ate a grape seed, he violated it. I don't see what the problem is. It's a grape seed, and he ate it. Why are you telling me it's part of a mixture, it's not part of a mixture? I don't care about that. Is it a grape seed? Did he say he wouldn't eat it? Did he eat it? The math is very easy. And I'm not so good at math, but I can do that kind of math. Alright. I have my own teiku on why this is a teiku. Okay. The Gemara concludes that the dilemma shall stand unresolved. Boyavashina the Shamash was no to the Hansam the Kami. Keep the size of the Asu, become much by the Teo, Kamashava. That the Mashu Dilma came in Amashloch and Lazar's. Ravashi raises a dilemma, which interestingly will not result in Teiku. Okay? In the case of a Nazarite who says, on my oath I will not eat a grape seed, how much must he eat in order to be liable? A Nazarite is prohibited from eating grape seeds. See Numbers 6, verse 4. It is the halacha that since eating an olive bulk is a prohibition by Torah law, when he takes an oath of this sort, he is taking the oath to prohibit that which is permitted to him, and his intention in taking the oath is to prohibit eating any amount, or perhaps, since he said, I will not eat a grape seed, his intention is that the prohibition applies to an olive bulk, which is the standard measure for what is considered eating. Tashima. Come let us hear. A proof from a Mishnah in 22b. Shevuos shelo ochel lo yochel levelos Shevuos shkotzim u'mosim chayev v'mishim potel. כהנים מה חייב? מושבע, היא אומרת, מהו? סיני הוא. רב ושמואל ויוחנן דאמרים בכל הדברים המותרים מדבר אסורים. The Gemara suggests, come and hear a proof from Mishnah 22b with regard to one who said, on my oath I will not eat, and then ate the meat of unslaughtered carcasses or treifot, repugnant creatures or creeping animals. He is liable. And Rabbi Shimon deems him exempt. And we discussed it. Why is he liable for violating his oath? When he eats non-kosher food, he is already under oath from Mount Sinai not to eat forbidden food, and an oath cannot take effect to prohibit that which is already forbidden. Rav and Shmuel and Rabbi Yochanan all say that this is a case where he incorporates where were we? Rav and Shmuel and Yochanan all say that this is a case where he incorporates into the oath that he will not eat some permitted items along with the statement concerning the forbidden items. Since the oath takes effect with regard to the permitted items, it extends also to the forbidden ones. וריש לקיש אמר, אתה מוצא אלא, במפרש חצי שיעור, ואליבא דרבנן, סתם ואליבא דרבי עקיבא דאמר, אדם מויסר עצמו בכל שהוא. And Reish Lakish says you find that one is liable for eating non-kosher food after taking an oath not to eat, only if it is both a case where he specifies in the oath that the oath includes a half measure, and in accordance with the opinion of the rabbis, that one is not liable for eating a half measure unless it is specified in the oath. Since eating a half measure is not prohibited by the Torah, the oath takes effect. Alternatively, you find that one is liable if he took the oath without specifying that the oath prohibits less than the usual measure, and in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Akiva, who says that a person renders himself prohibited from eating any amount by taking an oath not to eat. The Gemara comments, but isn't the carcass an item for which one is already under oath from Mount Sinai? In that respect, it resembles a grape seed for a Nazirite, and yet the reason that Reish Lakish says he is liable according to the rabbis is that he specified that the oath prohibits him from eating even a half measure, indicating that if he did not specify, his intention is that the oath refers to an olive bulb. Conclude from it that a Nazirite who takes an oath not to eat a grape seed is liable only if he eats an olive bulb. Ela tipshot de bayrava Shevuos lo achen afar b'chama tipshot da'ad digezayit had nevel chaver damyo v'tama devarish had lo parish data gezayit. The Gemara asks, but according to this, resolve the dilemma that Rava raises with regard to one who says, on my oath, I will not eat dirt. Asking how much must he eat in order to be liable, resolve the dilemma by saying that he is not liable unless he eats an olive bulb, since the carcass resembles dirt, and the reason he is liable is that he specified that the oath prohibits him from eating even a half measure, indicating that if he did not specify, his intention is that the oath refers to an olive bulb. Lo. Afar lav barachila hu kla, nevela barachila, ve'ariyahu derevia ila behi. The Gemara answers no. The dilemma cannot be resolved based on this comparison. Dirt is entirely edible. A carcass, by contrast, is edible, but a lion crouches on it, meaning eating it is prohibited by the Torah. Therefore, one cannot derive the halakha concerning dirt from the halakha concerning a carcass. Okay, that's the end of that. We're starting a new mission right now. Shevuos shelo eichel v'achal v'shosa ena chay elachas. Interesting. Someone said, I will not eat, but he ate and drank. He's only liable to bring one offering because an oath from eating it only pertains to eating and it doesn't refer to drinking. And of course, if he said he won't eat and drink, then if he eats and drinks, then he's chayav too. Eno chayav elachas. Shevuos lo אוכל פס חיטין ופס אויר ופס כוס מין ויאכל חייב על כל אחס ויחס. שבועש לא אשתה ושתה משכין הרבה אינו חייב לחס. שבועש לא אשתה יין ושמן דבש ושתה וחייב על כל אחס ויחס. Okay, they basically go through combinations of what he said he swears he'll eat and won't eat, and goes through it very systematically. He says if he's on his oath, on my oath I will not eat, not drink, and then he ate and drank, he is liable for two offerings. If he said on my oath I will not eat, and then he ate wheat bread and barley and spelt bread, he is liable to bring only one offering. If he said on my oath I will not eat wheat bread or barley bread or spelt bread, and he ate all of them, he is liable to bring an offering for each and every one. Seems very obvious. If he said, on my oath I will not drink, and then he drank several kinds of liquids, he's liable to bring only one offering. But if he said, on my oath, I will not drink wine or oil or honey, and he drank all of them, he is liable to bring an offering for each and every one. Shevuos lo yochel, v'yochal ochelin, she'eno oil l'achila b'shas mashkin, she'eno oil l'shtiya patur. V'shvuos lo yochel nochen v'edes d'chayos sh'kazim osem chayav, v'shem patur. Amar kono ishti nehenet li, konam ishti nehenet li, im achalti hayom. If he said, on my oath, I will not eat, and he ate foods that are inedible or drank liquids that are not potable, he is exempt. Not drinkable, I guess. Potable, drinkable. If he said, on my oath, I will not eat, and then he ate the meat of unslaughtered carcasses or trephot, repugnant creatures, or could be animals, he is liable. And Rabbi Shimon deems him exempt, since he is already under oath from Mount Sinai not to eat them. And an oath cannot take effect where another oath is in force. But if he said, it is konam for my wife to derive benefit from me, if I ate today, and he had eaten carcasses or trephot, repugnant creatures or creeping animals, his wife is prohibited from deriving benefit from him. That's the Mishnah. Now the Gemara says, Omer Rab Chiya bar Rabin, Omer Shmuel, Shevuos lo ochel v'shas chayav, I bois ema, Svarav I bois ema kro. The Gemara says, Rabbi Chiya bar Rabin says, that Shmuel says, if one said, on my oath I will not eat, and then he drank, he is liable. If you wish, you may propose a logical argument for this ruling, and if you wish, you may recite a verse to explain it. The Gemara explains, if you wish, you may propose a logical argument for this ruling. It is clear that drinking is included in eating from the fact that a person will say to another, let's have a taste of something, and they go in and eat and drink. And if you wish, cite a verse at the source of this ruling, as Rish Lakish says, from where is it derived that drinking is included in eating? It is derived from that which is stated, and you shall eat before the Lord your God in the place that he shall choose to cause his name to dwell there, the tithe of your grain, of your tirosh, which means of your wine, and of your oil. Tirosh is like of grapes, wine. So we see that eating and drinking are in the same category. Deuteronomy 14:23.